Hello. Today we are going to talk about 4 key things that I think that you should know about today's news. So, I don't want to make this like one day's specific news, but I do think that this is a very good review of the day's or the past day's events. And I will now list them out. 1. There is the battle between DeSantis and Disney. We're going to talk about that. That's one of the most important things that I really want to talk about. 2, I just want to talk about the debt ceiling a little, because the debt ceiling was because we might reach a certain point where, boom, the U.S. economy could go into a state of depression. That's probably not going to happen. Those were the people who really thought things were going to go bad. But we're going to talk about the debt ceiling. 3, I want to talk about a few books that are going to be very exciting for you young readers out there. And 4, I'm going to talk just a little, about another thing that I find very, very interesting, and that is the ongoing water crisis. So those are the things that we're going to talk about, and let's get into it. I am Jaden Yoon, your host for the irregular and not always, and it's not always updated news report. I don't know. The Daily News Report. So, not a very awesome name, but a pretty good. It's pretty good in my opinion. So, let's get into it. First, we have Disney. So, if you've ever gone to Disneyland or Disney World, you know that Disney is just a really amazing place to go to, right? Then again, not really. I mean, I've gone to Disney, and, well, this is a news report, and I don't want to mix fact with fiction, with an opinion, but still, I just want to say Disney is not for everybody. Some people are not going to like Disney, some people are going to like Disney. It all depends. But Disney World and Disneyland are both highly popular. Now, we're going to focus on the state of Florida, around Orlando, because Florida, we have Disney World. Now, Disney World is amazing, at least to some people. Some people who don't like rides, who don't like attractions, they don't like theme parks, then maybe they don't like it. But the majority of people, they like it. And now we've been hearing about this legal battle between DeSantis and Disney. So we're going to talk about that. First, DeSantis, who is he? He is a Republican governor of Florida. He was elected in this election, these midterm elections, and he's even thinking of running for president, some people say, though that's not, we can't always rely on myths, but some people say that he's planning on running for president. And with all that, and the two presidents, there's only one president, but Joe Biden and Donald Trump is planning for his 2024 campaign. So both of those presidents, many people are saying, are, and this is not my opinion, a little too old, and many people say that we need like an age limit for presidents. And Joe Biden's popularity has been decreasing in the past 3 years, 2-3 years since his presidency began. So those are a few factors. Also, Trump got involved in a sex scandal, which really just, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people were swayed were swayed when they realized that, Trump, people are saying that he committed a bad thing, and he did a bad thing. And of course, when a president is charged to do a bad thing, and when that happens, I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump's popularity also fell. So both of these presidents are, maybe a little too old, and they're not very popular. People want somebody new and fresh, and that's where DeSantis comes in. He's young, I think in his 30s, and he's a Republican, and the Republican Party is thinking of replacing Donald Trump, and he's pretty well liked. So maybe he can become the president, or maybe not. What do you think? And who do you think that the future president who's going to be elected in 2024, who do you think that he's going to be? Okay, let's keep on going. So yeah, DeSantis versus Disney. What happened? First, there's a word battle. So this is not like an official battle, but there is a battle. So DeSantis wants to protect the children of his state, right? So, don't say gay. Those types of bills have been championed by DeSantis, and he really wants that, restriction. He wants to protect kids from those types of things. Meanwhile, Disney is completely opposite of that. And so, Disney fans and the people who are working with Disney are saying, Disney supports LGBTQ communities and Q plus, and people working with Disney say that Disney supports communities and communities that are gay. And so that's one word battle that is happening, but there's also a legal battle. Now, this is because Disney sued DeSantis and, the government. Why? Yeah, Disney filed a federal lawsuit. Why did they do that? Because, well, DeSantis, he chose, people from his member, made sort of a committee, and now, before Disney operated and controlled everything on their land, now they have this group of supervisors who, that DeSantis says. So now Disney doesn't have as much control as before, and that isn't making Disney happy. So because of this, Disney is deciding that it is going to do two things. First, it's going to close the Star Wars Hotel. So actually the Star Wars Hotel is the Star Wars Galactic Starship. It's a 2-night experience that, is in a Star Wars hotel. It's really expensive. 2 people for those 2 nights. That's $4,800. And, if you're low on cash or if you're on a budget, I really won't recommend this. And that place only has about 100 rooms, and you can imagine how much it would have cost to make it. About $300 something million, around the $350 million mark. That's a lot of money to put into one hotel. It opened in March of last year, and Disney has just announced that it's going to close at the end of September this year. That's only about a year and a half of operating, right? That's only about a year and a half. And now it's already closing, and they spent $350 million on it. So, $350 million for 1.5 years? I don't think it's worth it. And so DeSantis, his group is, mocking Disney, claiming victory for this. So that's one thing that's happening. And another thing that is happening is that Disney has stopped plans for this center, this, corporate center that it wanted to build in Lake Nona, which is right next to Orlando. It might be part of Orlando. I'm not very good at that type of stuff, geography and towns and cities. I mean, I'm pretty good, but never mind. Let's just go on. It's about 20 miles away from the Walt Disney Resort, and it's supposed to be about $900 million. That was a construction fee, but it didn't happen. And that's really disappointing because a lot of employees from Disney, were about to relocate to Florida where they will work in that center. So, Disney previously it was about to invest a lot of money. Robert Iger, Disney CEO, he was saying that he was gonna invest billions of dollars into Florida. But now, all of those plans have stopped. Why? Because of these new lawsuits and battles, all of these things are stopping. So you can see that Disney's really taking a lot of blows right now. There's this big word battle, there's this lawsuit that, is filed against DeSantis, and, along with that, it has to close so many things, and it might seem so bad for Disney, but it's not all that bad. But it does get worse because, Disney probably lost a lot of money with the Star Wars Hotel or the Star Wars Galactic Starship, which is, I think, is its official name. So, I'm pretty sure that I lost a lot of money and interest. So I think that it's not only the end of these projects, it was the end of a lot of hope. Besides, a lot of Florida businesses were looking forward to this. A lot of new Disney employees will come with more investment from Disney, right? And there will be more high-paying jobs for Florida. Like averaging around $120,000 per year, and that's pretty good. But because the investment has suddenly stopped, what happens is that suddenly all those jobs and all of those people that could have come aren't gonna come, or at least most of them aren't. And because of that, the local Florida business and the economy, it was expecting this new wave of employees for Disney. Now it isn't getting those employees, and it isn't getting the customers and the people that it expected. So because of that, I think that that's another blow. So some people will argue that, this is just really unfair for the Florida economy. And all of this will mean that, some people are going to say DeSantis is a bad governor. Disney has stopped investing, and it's Disney. I love Disney, and that's a big deal. Also, that this is going to mean a lot of jobs don't get relocated. This might mean, the boost that the Florida economy was expecting won't come. So there are a lot of downsides. But at the same time, we need to look at the perspective from both points of view. If you support DeSantis, maybe you can think about Disney's point of view. If you support Disney, what about you think about DeSantis' point of view? And we can, just see who is right, who is wrong. So don't let your biases affect you when learning about the news. Now, number 2. What was number 2? About the debt ceiling, right? So, the debt ceiling, we're getting closer and closer to the debt ceiling, that's for sure. The U.S. is piling up a tremendous amount of debt. So what's the debt ceiling? It's like the maximum amount that you're going to get, that we need to get, that's like the maximum amount of debt that we can amass. And we're soon going to reach it. At that point, some people say economic catastrophe is definitely going to happen. Others say, don't worry, of course that's not going to happen. Whatever the case, some people say that it's going to be solved, some people say that it's not. But today, this is right now the night of May 21st, 2023. Now, in exactly 10 days, we reach the day, X day, when the debt ceiling is reached. The only question is, how will the U.S. economy be like? Some people don't want to imagine it. I'm pretty sure stocks will fall a lot. And a lot of other bad things might happen. At the same time, it's all, we're all thinking about it. But the debt ceiling, we're reaching it. If the ceiling, we've reached it. And we can't go any farther. So the question is, should we raise the debt ceiling? Or should we do something about this? Should we do something? Should we just, I don't know, punch and kick and just get rid of the debt ceiling altogether? What do we do? Do we try to do something? Like, what do we do here? Joe Biden and Kevin McCarthy have resumed their talks. Kevin McCarthy is the House Speaker for Congress. And what's happening is that, they're talking about the debt ceiling again. They're having meetings. Both express some optimism, but we don't know. Are they going to solve it? Are they not going to solve it? Republicans, Democrats, they both have their own different views about what to do. So the solution might not come as quickly as we expect. But that's one thing I really wanted to mention, and I want everybody to be prepared for that day if it does come. Now, number 3, so far we've talked about the debt ceiling, and also we've talked about Disney. Now, number 3, what we were going to talk about for number 3 was drought. Actually, no, that was number 4. I'm just kidding. But I really want to talk about droughts because, and I think that number 3 can just turn into number 4. I really want to talk about droughts. So, there's been a super drought. And because of that, a lot of things have dried up. The Mississippi River and the Colorado River. So both, and Lake Mead, right? Lake Mead? It's dropped significantly. Water levels have dropped significantly. In some parts of the Mississippi, the water level is so low, shipping can't be done. Ships can't go, and that's going to mean that a lot of places will be too jammed and crowded for anything to pass. And even shipwrecks have been revealed because of the low water. And this is a big problem because the shipping industry really relies on the Mississippi. Like farmers, they can't ship anything down the Mississippi. Lots of people can't ship anything, and that means the shipping prices go up. And that's just really bad. Along with that, there's not enough water in Southern California and in Nevada and in Utah and in Arizona because the Colorado River is drying up. Lake Mead is drying up. All of those lakes are drying up. And because of that, there's going to be less water. And that's going to mean that it might impact agriculture. It might impact us. That means that 1, we really need to work on water sustainability. 2, the states need to work on water sustainability. 3, the federal government needs to work on water sustainability. 4, the entire United States of America needs to work on water sustainability. And 5, the entire globe needs to work on water sustainability. Because climate change and droughts aren't just happening in the United States. It's happening all over the world. El Nino and La Niña, you might not know what those mean. In Spanish, those mean the boy and the girl. And those are basically just hurricanes and weather patterns. I'm not very sure, but anyway, hurricanes and those tropical storms are getting worse and worse because of hotter air. And sea levels are rising because ice is melting, and because of that might be more flooding, right? Then there's more heat. This winter was one of the warmest winters on record with record temperatures, and the skiing season even had to close down early. And you see here this big theme that resonates throughout everything. We need to do something because right now we are very sloppy about the things that we're doing. There's a lot of pollution and there's litter, and people aren't paying attention to the needs that the environment, they need it, right? The environment depends on human sustainability if it wants to survive. If all of the animals in our ecosystems need to survive, they need us to straighten up. and they need us to make the right decisions. Because right now, we as the leading species in the planet, we are the cause for most of the climate change. We are the cause for all of the greenhouse gas emissions. We're the people who are releasing tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So we need to do something. And today I'm going to talk about something that the states of Arizona, Nevada, and California, they've devised something smart. They have agreed that they are going to use less water from the Colorado River. And so, everybody was saying, make an agreement, people. You need to make an agreement. And so, there was these talks, but this treaty only lasts until 2026. So this is not like a long time full solution. This is just a part-time solution. Why? Because many people don't understand the actual disasters that will come with this water shortage, especially because this winter a lot of snow came, and because of that, many people and this is the Colorado River depends a lot on snow melt, and because there was a lot of snow, basically you get the point. There was more water in the Colorado River, so people were like, and policymakers were like, oh look, there's water in the Colorado River, more than we expected. So maybe maybe the crisis isn't as bad as we thought it would be, but it is. It was just because this time we got lucky with a lot of snow, and so there's been this agreement. Right now, the average citizen in any of these states aren't gonna really feel the impacts, but I think that they're gonna definitely feel the impacts of the hot weather and the drought. And as the drought goes on, as the heat increases, as climate change increases becomes really rapid, we don't know what's going to happen. So we need to make sure that we're prepared. I, as a citizen of Southern California, am one of those people affected. So, I'm not affected yet, but I might be affected. So this is really close to my heart. I hope that something gets finished and, completed and agreed upon very, very quickly. Okay, so we've talked about all of those things. It's time to talk about the last thing. Boom! Yep, I went from here to here. So you might be wondering, what magic did I do? Actually, it was very simple, very simple magic, the magic of editing. But I really wanted to have this really awesome introduction to something I really wanted to talk about. The new books coming out in 2023. So, I am a person who really likes books. Now, of course, I don't know every book that's going to come out, but I like to cater to a lot of readers. Now, this time, I want to really talk about mythology. So there's been a really big mythology trend in my opinion. So lots of books about modern people in mythological situations where mythology, like gods and goddesses are actually real. So this time, I always talk about different topics. Like one time I'll talk about, next time maybe I'll talk about the awesome Newbery winners of 2022. So it just all depends, okay? So, but this time I'm really interested in mythology. Next time, I think I'll talk about nonfiction and autobiographies, I don't know. But this time mythology. So for Rick Riordan lovers, there is a new Percy Jackson book coming out. Percy Jackson #6. So for those Rick Riordan lovers, I think you're really gonna love that. Also, another thing, another book, a spin-off, will be all about Nico D'Angelo, the son of Hades, who was featured in the Heroes of Olympus, that series. So if you don't know anything about it, I totally recommend Rick Riordan. And also he has this company, Rick Riordan Presents, basically helps authors who are basically writing about the same things as he is, but of course, different characters, different settings, different moods, and different mythology, and different gods, and different stories. So basically nothing like his. but they're all related in the fact that they're mostly in the modern era. All of their characters are awesome, and it's all about mythology, like, I don't know, Korean mythology, Greek mythology, African mythology, Indian mythology, Native American mythology, Spanish mythology, Latino Spanish mythology. So just a wide range of things, a wide range of books all about those types of things. And I really find those things interesting. Yeah. And because of that, another author that I really like, Gracie Kim, wrote this amazing book called The Last Fallen Star, and then The Last Fallen Moon, and now The Last Fallen Realm is coming out in June. I think that's a really awesome book series. Totally recommend it. So that's another book I want to read. So those are 3 books that I want you to check out as they roll out in 2023. I don't know how they're going to be, but I just have a feeling that they're going to be awesome. Now, have a great rest of your day. Learn more about the world and about the economy and about politics and about news, because those are really interesting. And never just say, who cares about the news? Because news is important. You get to know what's happening in your world. And I really do think that awareness in our truly connected global world is harder than you would think. Because even though we are connected, I really do think that we still don't know the actual things happening around us. Even though we're connected, we only filter out the things that we don't want to see and only see the things that we want to see. I want to break away from that curtain, and I want to show you the news and only the news.